I'm Jade Erwin, the Digital Integrations Manager at Source LDPath. So I'm going to be going into a bit of detail on sort of the integrations that we've worked with NHS trusts and the private sector, and almost like sort of cutting those diagnostic delays down. So this is our Nottingham site, so that's our head office. So this is where we process wets right through to reporting in our histopathology services. We've also got a sister site in Chichester, and then we also do genomics in Cambridge as well. They are both Nottingham and Chichester are fully accredited to ISO 15189, so that's something we're extremely proud of. So just to highlight some of the sort of achievements that we've managed to obtain. So we scan over 1.5 million slides per year, so this is why we're really pushing digital. We've processed over 300,000 cases a year, and those samples get sent to being reported by over 280 of our consultant pathologists. So we've got a larger pool of pathologists that are reporting on your cases. Behind all the work that we do, we've got dedicated teams like courier teams, we've got an integrations team. So if ever you want to start an integration project with us, you'll get a dedicated integration member that's seeing your project all the way through. We're really proud that we've achieved over 90% of our KPIs compliance for our turnaround times. So one of the main things that we want to focus on is, although we're hitting our turnaround times for the samples that we receive, we really want to work on sort of the stages before we get the sample and after we get the sample. So getting those those requests to us sooner, getting the reports back into your system sooner, just to get those results back to the patient as soon as possible. And we also have a large repertoire of additional lab requests as well, so we do that alongside our routine work. So this just demonstrates our sort of year-on-year growth. So you can see where the COVID pandemic hit, and ever since then it's just exponentially grown. We expect this to continue. This just highlights sort of the need for outsourcing, the continuous backlogs that everyone faces. We've also got a custom LIMS, Hive Plus, that we've sort of designed ourselves by pathologists for pathologists. And this acts as almost like a bit of a plug-in. So this allows us to sort of integrate with many different LIMS. We can integrate with different IMS providers, just to help that integration between us and the NHS Trust. So digital integration. So the ones that I'm going to focus on predominantly is the LIMS to LIMS and the scanning. So the LIMS to LIMS is obviously getting the order messages from your LIMS system into ours rather than sending request forms, and then also getting the reports back into your system as quick as possible to reduce that administrative pressure. And then scanning, so predominantly on the pre-prepared workflow, so rather than receiving glass slides, we'll be receiving images instead. So some of the main benefits, there can be many, but I've just highlighted a few here. So by you sending us order messages or the reports going back into your system or receiving the images, it's faster turnaround times for the patients. Just at a click of a button you can send us your digital images. It makes the results easier to interpret, so by sharing with us your digital images, by a click of a button you can then share for like MDTs or second opinions a lot quicker. This helps then support getting the NHS targets, hitting those, and then predominantly for receiving the digital images, it prevents obviously sending glass slides, so preventing damage to slides being sent by a courier. So the first one I'm going to focus on is the image acquisition side of things, so receiving the digital images as opposed to the glass slides. So this is just a bit of a flow diagram just regarding the traditional process as opposed to the digital integration process. So as you can see, once you've got your sample on a slide, you've then got to send the slides to us. That can be 2 to 3 day courier delay based on when you send it to us. Then if those cases need additional lab work, you've then got to get them on a slide and get them sent to us, so that's another courier delay. Then once we generate a report, because we generate a report in a PDF format, you've then got to copy and paste that back into your LIMS, so there's an administrative pressure there. And then if you need your slides back from us for like an MDT or something like that, that can then cause a delay for us to get the slides back to you. Whereas as you can see, the digital integration process, with the click of a button and integrating with us, we can streamline that massively, so reduce all those courier waiting times. So we've recently moved to Indica Halo as our image management system. We're completely agnostic, so it doesn't matter what scanner you've got. We haven't got to do a conversion. We can receive any sort of file format from any scanner that you've got. There's different ways in terms of how we can get the images. So we'll set up like secure connections like VPN or HSCN connections, and then we can do either a push or pull model, so we can set up SFTP folders. And that's kind of like the first stage of the project. We'll go through sort of the technical analysis and how we're going to get those images across to us. But we're very proud to say that we're scanner agnostic. We've got a level of vendor integrations as well. So towards the end of this year, start of next year, we're going to have an example of a sector integration. So this allows us to make a connection in with the trust via a VPN, and then we're able to pull images directly from the cloud. So this is quick referral of cases to be outsourced, and then slide and patient information come together. We have actually got a live integration with Fujifilm as well. So if you've got sectoral Fujifilm, please feel free to come and talk to us, and we can get you on the path to sort of setting those projects up. Again, it's quicker referral of cases to be outsourced, and slides and patient information are sent together. Because of the amount of slides that we're processing, we've obviously got to do our due diligence with our image storage and archiving. So quite a lot of trusts come to us about advice. So once they're going digital in terms of how they store their images. So if you need any other further information, this just sort of details how we store our images as opposed to how long we keep them from the report date. And the only difference is just the time it takes to then retrieve them back. But it goes from primary servers to intermediate storage and then to deep glacial storage. We've then got a limbs-to-limbs integration. So we've got an example of a Apex limbs-to-limbs integration at East Kent. So this enables seamless transfer of cases between Source LDPath and the trust, so receive HL7 messages for the order messaging, and then reports go back into their limbs. This ensures faster turnaround times for those cases. Because everything's held in limbs, there's a full audit trail, which is really good for case management. And we really pride ourselves on collaborations with vendors as well. So as mentioned before, we've got collaborations with Fujifilm and Sectra. We've also got Clinisys. We're agnostic with Philips and other scanners. And we've just moved on to Indica Halo. So if anyone's using that system, we're really keen to do like an IMS to IMS integration. And then I'll go on to Talking Point. So because limbs-to-limbs integrations can take a lot of work, a lot of development, and some trusts, depending on whether they move into a new limbs provider, they might want an interim solution. So we work with someone called Talking Point, which is a third-party provider. And basically this is a module called Path Exchange, which is an import module. So we traditionally issue our reports in a PDF format, whereas if you use the Path Exchange, we'll then issue the reports in a text file, and then this Talking Point is installed on a trust PC. Then once you've downloaded the text files, they're imported into the Talking Point software, and that automatically transfers your reports into your limbs. So it removes that need for copying and pasting reports from the PDF into your limbs, so the administrative burden's completely removed. It then also reduces less error. So quite a lot of things, you can outsource as many cases as you want, and sometimes it can be quite heartbreaking going onto sites and they've outsourced all this and we've kept to our turnaround times, and then they've got a pile of reports that are waiting to be transferred back into the limbs, and it's just a bit soul destroying, all that work and all that effort that's been put into it. So the benefits of outsourcing can be lost. So this is why we're really keen to work with yourselves doing a limbs integration or a Talking Point to get those reports back into the system and get them to the patient quicker. And what else we do as well is, depending on your limbs, some limbs have some unsupported characters that go back in, so we work with you to make sure that any unsupported characters that might be sort of kicked out or rejected on the report into your limbs, we'll replace them with characters that can be accepted by your limbs. We also do flags as well, so on our reporting system, our pathologists can flag whether something's an unexpected finding. So we can flag that on the text report that's going to be flagged up in Talking Point to raise that report to you so you can action it appropriately, so we can incorporate those flags into it. There's a really interesting statement here. So it takes the secretary 2.5 minutes to copy and paste into limbs, whereas the Path Exchange auto import module can take 30 seconds per case. So this is the equivalent of 9 weeks admin person doing that job. So not only are you saving that time, that person can be doing something else. So it's just utilising that a lot better. So it minimises human error, transcribing reports back into their LIMS. Obviously we're all human, so someone doing that, you're removing human error. Reduces significant turnaround times, as mentioned with the copy and pasting. You're then able to utilise staff a lot better and improve case management. So what does this mean for you? So direct integration limbs to limbs, we've just got an anonymised case study. So this is a limbs to limbs integration that we've got with a customer. They processed over 11,000 cases in 2024. 90% reported within 5 days, and that's including the additionals. But the massive improvement that I really want to highlight here is we managed to reduce the turnaround times from 9 to 5 days, and that's from the procedure to outsourcing, not just at the point of when we've received the cases. So we're looking at the broader picture. Scanning, so we've got P1000 scanners as well, and this particular customer has the same scanners as us. They reported over 6,000 cases in 2024. From the point of scanning, for us to get it to a pathologist, a click of a button, it only took 0.81 days for us to get it to a pathologist to report on that case. So 92% reported within 5 days, that's including any additionals. And again, the significant improvement in the reduced outsourcing time from 7 to 3 days. This one's a combination of limbs to limbs and scanning. So this particular case, they processed 14,000 cases in 2024. And the average turnaround time from SLDPath receipt was 2.86 days. And from the procedure date right through to outsourcing time was reduced from 18 days to 4 days. So an even more significant improvement doing a combination of the integrations. So what you get as part of the project, so it's broken down into stages. So we do sort of like a project management tool. So we'll do the technical analysis in terms of what sort of solution are you looking for. You're looking for a limbs to limbs, an image acquisition. We'll set up sort of like what connections we need, VPN, what depending on your IT requirements. And then based on that information, we'll then complete the DPIA, so get the information governance signed off. Then we'll have a look at sort of capacity in terms of how much you're sending us. But there's no sort of requirement or set amount that you need to send to us. It's just whatever you need, whatever support you need. Then we'll go into how the operations are impacted as well. So trusts are going to have to be a bit more proactive in what cases they're selecting to be outsourced. So it's a different way of working. And then we'll get heavily involved in the user acceptance testing as well. So not only do we want to integrate, but we want to do it safely. So we're part of the whole validation process as well. So we're really keen to get a pathologist to sign off on the integration as well. Then it's the go live date, which is the exciting bit. And then things change, so things get updated. So there's always the post-integration support as well. So like I mentioned, you'll probably get someone from our integrations team dedicated to your integration to look after you. So what our vision overall is a partnership with hospitals. So we want to be a partnership, not just an outsourcing provider. So we want to streamline the samples that we receive right from the point of sample receipt all the way through to getting those reports back to the patient. We want to be seen as an extension of your laboratory. So we want to be able to increase your capacity, so be seen as a partner. And at the end of the day, we just want those quicker turnaround times for the patient, and we're patient-focused care. We have got a stand here today, so if you have any sort of specific questions in terms of what kind of integration you'd be looking at doing, please come and talk to us. We can set up those initial conversations and get the project up and running. Perfect, thank you.